Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough I'd like you guys to meet. This here is Chris Hope. He is a defensive back out of East Tennessee State University. Nice to have you, David, sir.
Thanks, Jimmy. I'm really glad to be here, man. I'm glad to answer questions.
Cool. Well, obviously, man, wanted to get to know you and felt like, hey, here's a guy who's very athletic, got maybe perhaps some versatility, a lot to his game, great leader for his program. So, a lot to offer a team in the future. So, Chris, go ahead, introduce yourself, and we'll get going.
Like you said, Jimmy, my name's Chris Hope. I'm from Madison, Alabama. I went to James Clemens High School. That's about hour and a half from Birmingham, Alabama. And yeah,
Well, I see you repping your hometown school there with the shirt.
yes, sir.
Says let me in on what that says actually, if you don't mind. My
It
old
says
eyes are getting to me.
it says James Clemens back-to-back 7A Region 4 champions.
Cool. So talk about that a little bit more, man. Back to back. What is it? What does all that mean? I'm assuming that's your football team back in the day. Talk about
Yeah.
those good old days, if you don't mind.
Yeah, man. So back in the day at James Clemens, I was part of the football team, obviously, and we got our first region championship in school history, my junior year there. And then we were fortunate enough next year to repeat. We had two really good squads that year, make some really good playoff runs that year, and yeah, man, we got this nice gear to go along with it. So
It's always nice to rep the home squad there. So good deal. So hey Chris, even before maybe you got there, I do want to ask the question, how long have you played football, man? I mean, I know a lot of guys like they start playing at a very young age. What was it for you?
I think I am on year 15 or 16 now. I played my first year of football. It was flag football, however. It was in first grade. I took a little break from it, picked it back up in fifth grade, and we started playing tackle. And I've been playing ever since then, man.
So you always been a defensive kind of guy, like they throw you around a little bit, you play some offense. Talk to me about your overall history, if you don't mind, obviously prior to ETSU.
Yeah, so back in the day at James Clemens, I was mainly a receiver actually. They tried me at a few spots on defense and they really liked me there, but we had other athletes there to kind of fill those spots. And I really feel like we needed the help on offense, so they kind of threw me there, and that's it kind of stuck. I played there all 4 years. I was fortunate enough to start on varsity as a sophomore. And yeah, when I got here at ETSU, that's when I kind of made the transition.
Neat. The other thing I have in my notes, Chris, that I think we definitely need to, let people know is, dude, you were a damn good track and field athlete too there for James Clemens. So
Yeah.
I got in my notes, and correct me if any of this stuff is wrong, please. So like, about 10.9 and 100 meter,
Yes, sir.
22.5 ish in the 200. These are some
Yeah, somewhere
really
around there.
solid numbers. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously, that indicates a guy with some great speed. So, what would you say, maybe perhaps track has done for you, like that overall history?
Track's done a lot for me. Obviously, at the time, I was doing it to up my game. Obviously, I wanted to be a little bit faster. But on top of that, it helped me stay in shape during the off season. It kind of gave me something to focus on away from football. I know some guys can get really burnt out from football, and having kind of that escape, that outlet to track in the middle of the year was really good for me, really beneficial.
Cool. Well, hey, keeps you in shape. Run a little bit. That's what I
Yeah.
try and do. That's what I try and do in my old age. Just run whenever I can. Hey, obviously out of James Clemens there in Madison, Alabama area, you end up going to ETSU. Talk about the recruiting and what ultimately led you there to ETSU.
So for me, recruiting was really slow. I really wasn't getting that many looks in high school, and I remember it was really frustrating because I felt like I was one of the best players in the state at the time. But a guy by the name of Steve Brown, he was defensive backs coach here at ETSU. He came and found me, and he really took a shot on me. Like I said, I wasn't a safety or a DB in high school. I had a little bit of experience at it, but it was kind of like just throw you in and go make a play type deal every couple series. But for me, ETSU was my only Division I offer. I came here. This is the only visit I came on. And when I came here, I loved it, man. I fell in love with the place, with the city, with the coaching staff, the culture here. And yeah, I've been here ever since, and I've loved every second of it.
And bro, when you came in, I mean, the team is going very strong. They are really dominant at that particular time you're coming in, and I don't know, man. Maybe perhaps they didn't need you at the time. And like you had mentioned, dude, you're also making a transition from being an offensive player to a defensive player. So, how did that transition exactly happen? And what's I guess what helped you make that transition as smoothly as possible?
Again, like I said, Coach Brown, man, he was one of those guys. Like he really took a shot on me, and he really made me believe that I could be a great defensive back at this level. Me and one of my best friends, Sheldon Arnold, we worked relentlessly trying to get ready, and those guys were really instrumental in me becoming the player I am now. Tyree Robinson, he's the guy that you might have talked to a while back, but he was another guy like just always working with me, always pushing me to be the best player, and ultimately this is how it came out.
Yeah, I remember Tyree Robinson, man. Like he was one of those stars back in the day. Him and Quay
Yeah.
Holmes, man.
Hmm.
Coming out there. I mean, they pretty much put ETSU on the map for some
Yeah.
people. And so, hey, it's nice to be able to, have guys like that to help you along, and kind of show you the ropes, what it really means to be like a top-notch, defensive back, there at ETSU. So, talk about that defense for you. I mean, obviously it took you a while, but hey, we're currently looking at a team captain there. So you've worked yourself up through the ranks over the years, and you're now the leader of that defense. But go ahead and talk to me a little bit more about that defense. Just kind of describe it overall for people.
So this year's defense, we were. Do you want like the scheme or just more like personnel?
Give
Like,
it to me, however you want to give it to me.
so this year's defense, we were coached under Josh Reardon. This is his first year here at ETSU. One of my favorite coaches of all time, man. He brought in a new defense that I, for one, had never played in before. I've been playing in Billy Taylor's defense for the past 4 years, and I feel like Coach Reardon's defense was a lot more safe, I guess, for the safeties. We had a lot less pressure on us, but we were a quarters team, middle of the field open, and yeah, man, I was super happy with the structure that he brought to the team. In the past, we were kind of more in zero. Everyone's manned up across the board, and it's kind of like, all right, go out there and play. With Coach Reardon's defense, it was more of like, okay, we're going to take the stress off of one guy this play and kind of move it around. And we're going to protect guys when we can and not keep guys in one-on-one coverage all day, which I think was really good for me and the other DBs.
Yeah, I mean, keeps things very simple. I mean, which I think, sometimes when you are transitioning to new scheme, new coaches, probably best for everybody. Because you don't want to make things too complicated, especially for some of the up and coming guys. You want to try and establish something there. So and not a bad thing, there for you guys. So
Yeah.
um a lot of great teammates that I know you've played with, man, over the years. We talked about a couple of them. Um, Talk about maybe perhaps some of those up and coming guys, because I mean I know that there are some guys there who we have yet to talk about. Maybe we haven't seen too much of. Who
Yeah.
is maybe like I don't know, some unheralded guy there at the ETSU that people really need to know. Maybe next year.
I've honestly got two. So I've got two of my safety buddies, Mike Jenkins and Ryan Barrett. They're two young guys, two young safeties coming up. It'll be their team next year. But those are two guys, man. They're young, they're getting in here and they're hungry, man. That's one thing I love about those two. They're really hungry and they want to be the best players that they can be. And just being around them and seeing the way that they work, I know they're gonna get there.
Cool. Well, I mean, and it's a great thing that they have a guy like you, who is really the leader of that defense, who has been able to, sort of help them along. Again, I had mentioned that you are team captain there, so I gotta ask, what does it mean for you to really hold that title, and have that position of leadership on your team?
Man, I don't take it lightly, man. I was super proud to be voted team captain. I feel like that's a testament to my character with my teammates, my leadership. I feel like I'm one of those guys that comes to work every day, puts my head down and just grinds. And I try and encourage the other guys to do the same thing. And I feel like I'm a great role model to them, and I really appreciate them voting me team captain. That really meant a lot to me.
Well, hey, I mean, obviously they felt like you go out there, you get the job done. So you go out there, you lead by example, and hey, I mean, we're looking at a guy who others can certainly follow. So, Chris, want to look at you as an NFL prospect, as a guy at your position. Certainly playing in that secondary. I'm pretty sure you've played a little bit of everywhere, maybe perhaps in that
Yeah.
secondary. Can you talk a little bit more in depth as to maybe how you have been utilized and maybe perhaps what you feel are some of your best traits as a player?
Yeah, for sure. So this year I was the strong safety. I was our field safety. That was actually what I came in as when I came to high school. That's where they put me at, and I played that for a couple years. My third year, they switched me from the field safety to the boundary safety, playing in a little less space. And then throughout this entire time, I played nickel on third down. And then probably about 2 springs ago, they had me learn outside linebacker, and I played it for a spring and I was really good at it. I enjoyed the position a lot, honestly. And I felt like it really helped my versatility, so I can really kind of fit anywhere in any defense. I can bring some value.
So tell me this, Chris. What is your current height and weight?
I'm 6 foot, probably 200, 198, somewhere in that range.
So pretty even when you're talking about a guy in the secondary. You're looking at a guy at least body type wise that we can do anything with. I mean, we're not too restricted, when it comes to like where we might be able to put you out on the field. Um, One thing, though, obviously, is as you transition to the pros, perhaps the way that you would get on the field is through special teams. And so, kind of want to get your perspective on special teams, like your approach and attitude, and just kind of overall experience, if you can walk me through some of that.
Yeah, man, I love special teams. Every year, I've always been the guy that, hey, coach, let me get on this, let me get on that. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? I've played special teams ever since I've been here. That was really my main role. My first 2 years here was on special teams. I was on kickoff return, punt return. I played them all. I've been on hands team, onside team, all that. But I feel special teams is as big of a part of a game as offense and defense. I mean, to me, I see it as a man-on-man play. This guy across from you is trying to stop you from doing something, stop you from making a tackle, making your block, getting downfield, and it's up to you to say, okay, he's not going to let me do that. And so I take a lot of pride in special teams. I played on punt this year up until about halfway through the season, and like I said, I love every minute of it. I take that stuff real serious.
So, I don't know how much of the NFL you've been watching these days, but I mean, here lately we're looking at a new approach to special teams, with this dynamic kickoff thing. And I know at the collegiate level we're not seeing it, but in the NFL things have changed a little bit. Um, have you tried to dive into that a little bit? I mean, do you have a take on it? I just wanted to get your opinions on it if you have any.
I understand the move from the old kickoff to the new one. I don't mind it. I do wish as college players we could kind of start to prepare for that now, and we could kind of move to the dynamic kickoff. Obviously, like it's not going to be like football days of old. But that's kind of the direction that football is heading in. And so if college players could transition and go ahead and start working on that now, I feel like whenever they are making that step to the next level, they're a little bit more prepared, and they kind of have a higher skill set, at least with that form of kickoff.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. We need to see more or less the same sport, same rules as much as possible. I think, especially for guys who are transitioning, like you don't, it's nice to have the sport, if you know what I mean. Like, learning some new things
Yeah.
kind of off. I mean, certainly things change a little bit with the speed of the game as you, move up the ranks and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm completely there with you, buddy. So uh, kind of wanted to look at, I don't know, maybe how things have gone for you guys as of late. I know this past season was maybe not exactly what you wanted to end with. Final win-loss record there, 7-5. But I know for you personally, dealt with some struggles, hardships. And so as you're dealing with these sorts of things, tell me a little bit about how you've approached it, and just try to stay positive. Maybe when these things aren't necessarily going your way.
Yeah, so for me, obviously, this year I did tear my ACL. I tore it after the sixth game of the season. Obviously, that was devastating. At the time, I kind of felt like I was starting to play my best football, and I was really, I'm saying, taking that next step. Um, and for me, when I found out, obviously, like I said, super devastating. But I kind of saw it a different way. I kind of gave myself a little bit of time, to feel sorry for myself, and then it was okay. I'm still a captain on this team, regardless of if I'm playing or not. I still got that C on my chest. And I kind of wanted to see, not want to see, but I kind of, the way I looked at it, I wanted to make a difference in another way that wasn't on the football field. So I wanted to be a leader, what I'm saying, off the field. I wanted to be a guy that my teammates can look to and be like, man, like he's gone through some adversity, but here he is, what I'm saying? He's still strong. He's still out here supporting us. And I feel like I've been that way through my entire life. Yeah, I've gone through a lot of hard things, but it's always what's next. How can we bounce back from this? And I feel like I've carried that over into football, and it's been great for me.
And so I feel like maybe the last month or few weeks or whatever, like you've almost been like an additional coach out there.
Yeah.
Being able to help the guys, alongside, there for your team. Uh, do you think that that might be in your future, having perhaps that overall experience? I mean, i just I just kind of want to play around with that for just a little bit. Like, obviously you've had at least a month where you're literally like an extra coach. Have you thought through that as a
hmm
possibility in the future, or what?
No, it's definitely something I've thought about. I know for me, regardless of when my playing days are over, whether they've been over, I'm saying, since the day I tore my ACL, or whether I still have a future in this game. I knew after I was done playing, there was no way I was going to be able to take a step away from the game. The game has been such a big part of my life, and I knew that I wanted to find a way to give back. And obviously, coaching would be the best way to do that. And obviously, like I have the knowledge. I mean, I've played college football for 5 years. I've been around the block a handful of times now. And like I said, I feel like I have great football knowledge, and I'd be able to pass that on to the guys that are coming up behind me.
Well, hey, man, I'm not trying to push you that route right now, and I'm not saying that you're done. I'm saying that obviously maybe whenever that's in your future, whether it be 5, 10, 15, 20 years or more, it's just kind of like a little taste of it, I guess, is what you got. This
Yeah.
past month. So just kind of teasing a little bit of that. Um, Maybe you got a lot of some other aspirations too. So I mean, I'm just kind of curious. What have you done there at ETSU in the classroom, man? I mean, what's been your major? If you graduated, what's your academic situation?
So I graduated from ETSU last spring. I graduated with a bachelor's in kinesiology. Um, I've done a few internships up here. I did one with our athletic training room for a semester, and it was great, man. It was really cool, kind of seeing football from the other side, not more so as a player, but kind of as an employee, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, Kind of helping, and it wasn't just football athletes that I was kind of helping with. It was really the entire athletic body here. And like I said, I really enjoyed it. I graduated here at a 3.0 GPA. And right now I'm actually getting a certificate in athletic administration. And I've kind of been thinking about maybe looking for a position within somebody's athletic department, if football doesn't work out. And yeah, so I've got a few things going for me.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you have some other experience, and so that certainly helps. But um, do want to kind of reminisce a little bit about what you have accomplished there as a player. Um,
Yeah.
Talk me through maybe some of your best moments, like your best games, maybe best personal highlight. Can you give me a couple of those?
Oh man, best game. Best game. Let's see. I'd probably go back to probably Jacksonville State from last year. It was my first time playing into the boundary, playing safety. I finished the game with a career high, actually, 12 tackles, a game high, 12 tackles. I think I had one or two tackles for loss that game. But I remember I was really proud of that game. That was one of my first times going back home and playing in the state of Alabama. So I kind of had a chip on my shoulder right there. But my best play, I'd probably go back to Mercer at Mercer. I think that was 2022. I got my first career interception. I remember I was in man coverage on the slot, and the corner to my side was in man coverage on the guy out there. The guy runs a slant, ball gets popped up in the air. I turn around, I see the ball kind of coming down, and I kind of dive through and pick the ball off. And it was actually that quarterback's first pick of the season. And I think we were probably 6 or 7 games into the season. So that's one I'll definitely remember the first pick.
It's kind of I don't know. Do you embrace the whole idea of being the bad guy in that moment, man, when you're taking that one interception of the guy who hasn't thrown one yet, or what?
Yeah, man.
Uh,
Yeah, so I remember that entire week they'd been talking about how he hadn't thrown an interception, and that was one of the things I was like, man, we got to get him. We're gonna get us one from him, and fortunately enough, I was able to get my hands on one and change the game.
Cool. Well, do want to get a chance to meet this guy off the football field a little bit. We've talked a little bit about it, but I mean, I want to see if there's maybe some other interesting things that we could share with people. Any fun facts? Maybe some, I don't know, other talents that you might have or other hobbies or something. Tell me a little bit about you. Go for it.
Um, I honestly, and I've picked this up a little bit more lately. Man, I'm trying to get back into reading. When I was a little kid, man, I used to love reading. I love expanding my mind. And if you got any book suggestions, man, I'm open to them all. But yeah, I used to be a big reader when I was a little kid. I've kind of since growing up, I've kind of had less time to do that. But in recently, I've been trying to make more time for myself for that. Um, Obviously I play video games. Big Call of Duty guy, big NCAA guy. I've kind of been playing those my entire life. Um, and yeah, I mean, I feel like outside of football, I'm a pretty normal guy, man. Like I like to play the game. I like to go, and play basketball, get outside and do stuff. And then, at night I like to read. That's one of the things I really love to do.
So I'm gonna I don't know, dance around this a little bit and just see how much more we can get out of it. When you say that you want to maybe pick up reading or you read at some point, like is there maybe like a particular genre type of book, certain authors? Like what are you into? I'm just trying to, figure
Um,
that out.
I don't really know anything in particular. I'm kind of open to anything, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, historical, anything like that. I'm really into just expanding my mind. Anything that can pique my interest, within, what I'm saying, the first chapter or so, I'll pick it up and I'll read it cover to cover. And you give me a couple of days and I'll be done with it. I'll be able to tell you all about it.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what type of guy I'm talking to, whether it's a guy who's picking up a comic book or the guy who's picking up the Holy Bible or a guy who's picking up God knows what in between. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
maybe I can give you some things after we finish the interview because I got a huge uh, collection myself.
yeah.
So anything else you want to add on that before we go forward, or I want to give
Uh,
you a chance to rebuttal?
Man, I've heard a lot about Stephen King, man. I've heard a whole lot about him, and I think I want to go ahead and give him a try. Just see what he's got to bring to me for as far as books. I've heard great things about him. I see he's got tons and tons of books. My stepmom and my grandma used to read his books all the time, and I've always kind of wondered, man, like what is he really talking about in those books? I'm pretty sure most of them are nonfiction, I believe. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's kind of been a guy that I've been trying to get my hands on one of his books and really see what the hype's about.
Well, you said Stephen King. I mean, Stephen King's a bit of a thriller horror guy. Is that the type of movies you watch or what?
Uh, I would say so. I'm kind of into movies. Well, I'm not a huge movie guy. Horror movies are okay. Thrillers, I'm pretty into thrillers. Uh, at least I know for me, my favorite movie is Interstellar. That's kind of more sci-fi than anything.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah.
Well, cool. Let me see. I'm going to ask you a couple more quick fun things, and then we'll wrap things up. So, um, favorite breakfast cereal?
Give me Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay. Ice cream flavor?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I'm like I said, I'm a pretty normal guy. I'm gonna go with vanilla.
He's a vanilla guy, man. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. You have any pets at home?
I do not. I actually, when I was younger, I did grow up. I had two cats and a dog in high school, but since then, I'm pet free, man.
You're pet free. Well, maybe we'll go back to it once you settle yourself down again. Who knows?
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
let's see here. Uh, dream vacation spot.
Dream vacation. Um, I think I want to go out of the country, so let's say Bora Bora.
All right, so it's got to be some tropical island somewhere. Is that what we're talking
Yeah,
about? All
yeah,
right. Sounds like fun. Sounds like a place to be. So, sit back, relax, be on the beach, soaking up the sun, sounds like a plan. So,
yeah.
um cool. So, Chris, no, we're talking from the framework of a guy who wants to make it to the league. When we're maybe looking at into the future, let's say you're in the NFL. Who's that one quarterback that maybe you want to really get an interception from?
Oh man, I feel like you'll get the same answer from a lot of guys with Patrick Mahomes, man. I feel like he's up there. I feel like with his resume so far as one of the best of all time. And picking him off would, man, I don't know if you'd be able to beat that. At least through our generation. Obviously, I feel like last generation would have been Tom Brady, Drew Brees, but for me, it's Patrick Mahomes. And I've never been a huge Chiefs fan, anyways. So that would just kind of put the icing on the cake.
Who did you grow up a fan of?
I was actually a Seahawks fan growing up, so like I was there with
Legion
Beast
of
Mode,
Boom.
yeah, Legion of Boom, Beast Quake whenever that happened against the Saints that year in the playoffs. But I think my favorite quarterback back in the day was probably Aaron Rodgers. It was just something about Aaron Rodgers, the way he got the ball out, and it kind of looked like effortless the way he flicked it. But I've always been a big Aaron Rodgers fan, at least the football player.
Cool. Well, hopefully you'll get those opportunities here soon, playing along those guys. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there for you, when you get there. But otherwise, you know, hopefully you can get there soon and make some great plays. As we wrap things up, uh, Chris, tell a lot of people what you bring to the table as a prospect and what they would be getting if they took a chance on you. So close with your final thoughts.
If coaches took a chance on me, they would be getting a guy that comes to work every single day. Obviously, a lot of guys in the NFL that's their selling card, but I feel like I'm a great locker room guy. I can kind of bring the locker room together. Like I said, I'm a hard worker. I'd be versatile on the football field. You can throw me anywhere, just about in the secondary, and I bring some value. I'm willing to play special teams. Like I said earlier in our interview, I love playing special teams, and I think that's one of the most serious parts of the game, one of the most pivotal parts of the game, and one play on special teams can change an entire game. So like I said, I'm willing to play anywhere. And yeah, like I said, great leader. I feel like I'd be one of those guys that you can count on. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to be where I'm supposed to be. Anything that you need, any position you need playing, any position you need filled, man, come get me in, and I'll play to the best of my ability.
Gotcha. Well, Chris, want to wish you all the best moving forward. Obviously, trying to get your opportunity here very soon. All right.
Appreciate you, Jimmy.
Again, I got with me Chris Hope, defensive back, ETSU. Check this guy out.